Hey folks, it's Chris Steyer here at Reborn Martial Arts in Springfield, Virginia. You guys know on our YouTube channel we explore all things martial, and today we are covering catch wrestling. Okay, catch or catch as catch can wrestling. What is it? Its roots go back to medieval Europe. It's believed that the style actually came from people using the methods of wrestling to subdue, to down opponents on a battlefield, usually armored opponents, so that you can easily get past their armor. So if you have an armored person, trying to just hack and slash at them with weaponry is a lot harder than getting them down on the ground, subduing them, and then working through the links in the armor, or basically submitting them so that you can later ransom them back to whoever, whatever lord that they're under. Then as the time went on and centuries went on, the people that had trained in these arts would have also gone on to compete in fairs and whatnot throughout Europe, which were really common, and you would have ended up with professionals in the art. So people that would have been professional wrestlers, really good at what they do, would have traveled around exhibiting their skills, and they would have also done a open to all competitors, basically, competition. So we know that they would have been traveling around with different fair groups and tour groups and whatnot, and entertainment companies, and they would have put on these shows at certain festivals, opened it up to the crowd, so they might not necessarily know the person that they're going to be wrestling. Bring out your local strongman, and we're going to show some techniques. So this is how we end up with a spread of not only style but ideas, and working different techniques, see what works really well. So it's kind of really pressure testing against a large number of people, because you're traveling around getting all kinds of different ideas from different cultures, different methods of using your techniques, and all of them were allowed, right? Because at this time we know that the rule set weren't very clear. It could have been changing from place to place, from day to day. So time goes on, and we get more into like prize fights, these types of things, where you'd set up, you know, this person versus this person matches, which were really popular at in the 1700s, 1800s. And then we get in towards the 1900s, and in 1904, catch wrestling was introduced into the Olympics. And going along with being introduced into the Olympics, there were a removal of the more deadly or rough type of techniques that weren't necessarily useful for the Olympic performances, and there was also an emphasis on points, submissions, things like this that could be easily judged, easily awarded, as opposed to just kind of willy-nilly going with whatever we end up with until someone gives. So it became much more codified as it moved into the Olympics. And then progressing forward, catch wrestling kind of falls away. We move towards freestyle with a codified rule set. Like I said, it's introduced into the Olympics, and it becomes a thing that people are practicing with this is how we wrestle now. So a little bit more clear what the techniques are. And this leads into what we have today, freestyle wrestling, or even entertainment wrestling. So the techniques are still there, but the emphasis is more on entertainment and less on brutal battlefield combat, which is what it had started as. So let's take a look at some of the techniques, ways that this differentiates between wrestling today, and what our thoughts on it are. Okay, so let's talk about techniques. What is different about catch wrestling than what you typically think of as either wrestling that we do in like high school and college, or what's really common like BJJ, JuJitsu, things like that? What differentiates this European martial art over, say, the Eastern wrestling arts? So part of it is technique, and Mike and I were talking about this. What are the techniques? Is it just pick up whatever you can? Yeah, there were wrestling instructors and coaches and whatnot, just like we have today, that they would have written manuals and whatnot. So we see medieval manuscripts and whatnot that teach these types of techniques, both armored, unarmored, with weapon, without weapon, dagger wrestling, things like that. So I'm going to demonstrate some techniques that I actually was lucky enough to learn from the great Tim Hall of HEMA wrestling fame, a ringing master, and I've competed in ringing, which is very similar to catch wrestling. It's one of the systems that we teach in HEMA, Historic European Martial Arts, and ringing is basically the German word for wrestling. So it's catch wrestling from medieval times. So I actually have a good deal of experience in this system. And Mike has no experience in this system, but that's what kind of makes it interesting. And this is kind of similar to what you would see in the olden days, is one person has experience in one style, another person has experience in another style. Mike has lots of experience in chin knot techniques or seizing, grappling, and things like that. So we're going to show you, we're going to do a back and forth. So I'm going to take a technique and I'm going to just kind of demonstrate it against Mike. We're not going to do full takedowns or anything like that, just because we don't have the space for it right now. And then I'll let Mike do a technique on me, and you kind of see the difference in style. So for example, if Mike just is in this position, I'll just let him go. He's going to go for a lock. Mike loves these under the arm locks, and he gets me to this position. Now, I'll just go ahead and I'll hold there. So in catch wrestling, if I can get out of this, great. If I can force my way out of this, great. We're going to move on to another technique, and Mike's going to lock me up, and he's going to do a thing, right? He's going to focus on what he's good at, his joint locks. All right, now I'm going to do a thing. So I'm going to demonstrate one of the techniques that's actually really common in fight books of the medieval period, and this would be something that you would see against an armored attacker. So I'm taking that idea of the medieval armored combatant, which is Mike, and I'm going to do a technique. So I'm going to just talk you guys through it. So pushing the arms down. Imagine he's got weapons and armor. I want to close in. I want to manipulate his structure, but he's got armored helmet. And I've seen this in live armored combat and tournaments before. It's a beautiful thing. You just end up basically coming in, falling over top, catch behind the arm, breaking the structure with your body, and then driving the person down. And if he's in armor and I'm in armor, and I just ride that energy down, I'm using the weight of my armor to help press him back. So it looks again like so. We're here. I move in. I'm going to keep driving forward, and I get this leg behind him, and I move into position. All right, Mike's turn. So we're in position. I'm going to let him get in. He's going to start working towards what he wants to move into. We're in this position. You actually see this. Really common, I'll try and add a clip in, really common maneuver. It's in the fight books and almost all of the fight books, and it's a universal thing, right? So everybody has the standing arm bar, right? It's pretty common. All right, let's think of another one. So we're here, we move in. I like manipulation, so again, we're in this position. Again, if Mike has armor on, using head manipulations, I'm not using his chin, but I'm using his helmet, and we're moving into these positions, and there's our takedown. And we're collapsing structure this way. All right, so Mike's going to take another turn. We're here. We're moving in. He's going to go for a thing. He moves in, gets in the position. All right, freeze. Go back to this. This is beautiful. Let's turn. Really, hey, YouTube, here we go. Really come in position. You get the person left up, and freeze. So this was a jaw manipulation. It's also a blood choke, so he's slowly cutting off the circulation to my brain, and he's also squeezing in. I can feel the pressure in my jaw. He's about to tap me out. Let's do one more. I'll go a little bit lower. So we're here, and we drop down, catch to the legs, and then we drive through with this position. Lots of different methods for this. You can do single leg. You can do catch all the way around, moving in this position, use my body weight to drive into him. You've seen these types of things in all of our videos have some sort of bike getting tossed around. So basically anything that you know from wrestling kind of fits into this system, which is really cool. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the pros, cons, differences. All right, so we usually talk about pros and cons of the system when we cover these types of things. Pros, the opportunistic element of doing catch wrestling, where every position, every single joint is an opportunity to lock up. Every single position that you're in is an opportunity to do a thing. That you're not necessarily fighting to get to somewhere else before you can do a thing. where you are is where you do the thing. I think that's one of the best things. I think that it really allows for a lot of practice and play because it's going to take a lot to get really good from every single position. But I think that as a martial artist, you should know how to do something from wherever you are. So I think that is one of the biggest pros. One of the cons, I think, for this is it's hard to find, right? So this is the big one. I did a quick search in our area. We have martial arts schools on every single corner in where we are in Northern Virginia. I did a quick search, zero. There are zero schools that teach this style of wrestling. I say that, but I'm not 100% true on that one. It's not 100% true. So if you take a look around for martial arts schools, you're going to find throwing arts, mostly Eastern, traditional Eastern martial arts, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Jiu-Jitsu, Judo, things like that. You're going to find them. And they teach in your area, you will find one. And they're going to teach a system similar to catch wrestling. But what if you really want to learn catch wrestling, if you really want the traditional Western martial arts stuff? What I recommend is going to your local HEMA club. So HEMA, H-E-M-A, Historic European Martial Arts, or Western Martial Arts. Google that, call up your local club and ask them if they have a ring-in club. Ring-in is the closest thing that you're going to find to traditional catch wrestling. It is the same thing. It's just ring-in is the term for German wrestling. And there's also books out there. So this is one of my manuals that I used to train from Jess Finley, who's a fantastic HEMA martial artist. And this is a really good training manual. Again, there are places out there, you got to do a little legwork to find them. But if you're interested in doing these traditional styles of wrestling, you have opportunities. If you have any questions or you want to learn more about this or it piques your curiosity, send me an email, comment below, and I'm happy to help you guys out if you're interested in learning more about this. Thanks. If you have any questions, comments, or anything like that, please put them below. It helps us grow our channel. And if you're interested in learning more about any of the topics of martial arts, comment and I would be happy to make a video on it. Thanks. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon.